Here's the client's problem. He calls me up. He wants to bring an investor into his corporation. The investor says, before I invest in your corporation, I need to review all of the corporate documents that you created when you formed the company, and I need to see all of the corporate minutes that should have been done every year. Once I've had a chance to review all those documents, then I'll make my investment. The problem is that the client had his CPA form the corporation rather than a lawyer, and the CPA elected not to draft any of these documents because he felt that it was only important as internal operational material and wouldn't matter for any other purpose. And consequently, he now does not have the documents that he needs in order to get his investment. What does he do? I had a telephone call with a client yesterday. He and his partner were looking to bring in a new investor. And he said to me that one of the challenges that he and his partner were facing was that the new investor wanted to look at all of their corporate records. And I told him, well, that would be no problem. All he needed to do is contact the attorney that had formed the corporation, and every attorney will do a certain amount of work to make sure that all of the formalities of the formation process have been met. And part of that would be the drafting of the articles of incorporation, the bylaws, minutes of the incorporator, shareholders, board of directors, share ledgers, share certificates, all of these kinds of documents. So I said, well, the easiest solution to this problem is just call the lawyer that did the formation, and they will provide you with a copy of the documents. He said, well, that's the problem. It wasn't my lawyer that did the formation, it was my CPA. And when I asked my CPA whether or not we needed any of these documents, he said, nah, don't worry about it at all. He said, those are documents that you just need for internal operation of the company, but otherwise they're not important. Wrong, completely wrong. And they've now found out that this was completely wrong information, because the new person who wanted to invest in the company will not put their money into the company without having all of these documents done. So the problem is that these guys need an investment. They can't get investment because the person who is going to be the investor requires all of the corporate formalities to have been met during the operation and formation of the company. When I told the client that I don't think that he'd been given good advice with regards to the necessity of having a properly formed corporation that contained all of the correct formation documents, he said, you know what, I just didn't think that the information that I got made any sense to me. And the reason it didn't make any sense to me was because I had previously been part of a startup. And when we did that startup, all of the lawyers that were involved in that engagement, in that process, made sure that we had properly documented all of the things that happened during the formation process. They insisted that we cross all of our T's and dot all of our I's. So when I was told by the CPA that it was not necessary, it just didn't sound right to me. And unfortunately, now we've found out that that was in fact the case. And now I need to fix the problem. Here's the client's problem. He wants to bring an investor into his corporation. The investor says, before I invest in your corporation, I need to review all of the corporate documents that you created when you formed the company, and I need to see all of the corporate minutes that should have been done every year. Once I've had a chance to review all those documents, then I'll make my investment. The solution to the problem, of course, is that the client is now going to have to take the time and energy to go back and essentially recreate those corporate records that are missing. Now, he cannot phony up records. He cannot lie about what actually happened in the life of the corporation. He can't exaggerate the financial condition of the company. But what he can do is he can go back and memorialize all of those things that actually did occur in the life of the corporation and put it together in such a way that all of the documents are complete and will satisfy the scrutiny of an investor. So the rule here is that when you form a corporation, make certain that you're having it formed with someone who knows exactly what they're doing. And although CPAs can be experts in the field of preparing tax returns for various business entities, they're not necessarily the experts that you want in the legal formation of the corporation. So if you find yourself in a situation where perhaps a CPA has formed your corporation or you formed the corporation yourself and you've not completed all of the documentation and you now find yourself in a position where you do need that documentation, please give us a call. We can help you go back, reconstruct the missing records, put it together so that it is a complete corporation, and make sure that any kind of scrutiny that you're going to subsequently face, you will be able to meet that scrutiny and do it in an above board, straightforward, business-like fashion. My name is Andy Gale. I'm a small business attorney. If you need help, please give me a call.